Alright, it's all dry now. So I'll let that dry overnight and I'll put it on tomorrow. That's my paint rack there. Works good. Alright, so next thing we got to play with is wiring on this bike. And I still got to fabricate some kind of a guard to go around here to keep your foot out of the pulley. So I'm going to come off these two bolts right here and come back off of here somehow. Make some kind of something to go across there. Yet to be determined. We'll figure it out. So, just my wiring stuff here. So I got a couple different options how to do things. I need my two hands here. Stupid motor in the way. Who put that motor in the way? Alright, so what we got is we get the mounting bracket here for the switch mount. So we're going to use this to mount our switch for the bike. Standard universal bracket they've been making for a million years. They cost more than they used to, like everything else, but they work. So that goes over here. So we'll take our switch, which was, there's our knob component piece. Okay, here's our switch. Nice precision fit. It's really bad, you can put an O-ring in there, which I might try to find something like that. Actually, this one here is got a shoulder on it. So the shoulder is keeping it from going all down the way. So I'll probably stick something like an O-ring in there. This here is pretty thin, so maybe I'll figure out if I can find a washer. Probably will not be able to find a washer. Got bright chrome, we got duller chrome. Yeah, they both chrome. Maybe we'll blast the chrome off of this one. I might do that. Make it look a lot better. I like that trick I did on the cord control over there. So we'll probably blast that to get rid of some of that brightness. So that's going to go right there. Nice and simple. And way too much chrome. I have to do something about that. Alright, next thing is we have over here, we got some other parts. So, got circuit breakers. I got a 15 amp and I got 20 amp. So these are good ones here. These ones I like buying. So most of my electrical stuff I get from Waytech. So there is your name and stuff. You can get just about anything you want in wiring. That's good stuff. Took me years to find a place to buy good wiring. Okay, so these are shortstop, which is the good brand to get. And you can get these in 15, 20s, 30s, whatever you need. So stock is a 15 ampere, which this one here is a 20. So what Harley did was they ran 130 on the charging side, which is stupid. So this is our 15. So it's 15 on it right there. So what I used to do is you can run a 30 amp on the ignition side, which means you're going between the battery and the switch here. And that will give you a 30 amp protection for the bike. Well, 30 amp is a pretty big wire. We don't need 30 amp protection on a bike that has no electrical on it. So what you can do is you can run your 20 ampere and you feed the bike with 20 amps, and on a normal bike you're never going to break that thing at all. And you put that on your feed line off the battery to ignition switch, so everything is switched. So the electrical has to go through the breaker to get to the switch, and so the switch is protected from a short, and you're done. And everything past that is 20 amp rated, which is enough for everything on the bike. The other way of doing it is you can run your hot lead right to your switch direct, so hook that right to your battery, right there. 20 amp, I mean you're full powered your switch. If the switch burns up, oh well, big deal. It ain't going to burn up unless it's bad anyway, so what's the difference? Then what you do is you come out of your two back sides, you come out with the light side and the motor side. The motor side is anything that runs the motor is on the motor side. So anything you want to work when the motor's on, which would be your idiot lights and neutral switches and stuff like that nobody cares about. Your horn, if you want the horn to work when the motor's running. Your brake light switch obviously needs to be on that circuit, and obviously the ignition. So that's on your ignition side. Now these circuit breakers here have a little tall post on them, so you can actually use these as a terminal strip, so you can put everything right on them. So you can run right out of the switch to your breaker, and then all your other stuff hooks onto that, and you're done. Just run each wire to where it needs to go, and it's simple, done. No stupid schematic for that. I forget what side is hot and cold. If I had to guess, copper would be the hot side and silver would be cold, but I might be backwards. Doesn't really matter. It works either way. And so you run one of these for your ignition, and then the second one you run for your lights and everything that's on the light circuit. So that would be your high beam indicator, your headlight obviously, and your tail light, and whatever else you want to work on that circuit. So you can shut an ignition. A real ignition switch has ignition only and then ignition and lights. That's a good switch. This one here has a starter in it, so it's a custom. What do I do with the key? So this one here has an off, there's on, and start. So this only has one on. Boom, everything's on. You got no choice. I don't like that because you're trying to start the bike with the headlight on. Harley's usually have bad starters and too much headlight, so I usually don't like having the headlight on when I'm trying to start. So I don't like this style switch, but it does make it more easier. You don't have to have a starter button on the handlebar. And as you can tell, there is nothing on those handlebars except cables. You got throttle cables, clutch cable, and a mirror. That's it. That's all you need. No other electrical, no nothing. So on this system here, you only need one breaker because you only got one switch. So you don't need to split it up. So I'm going to run the 20 amp. I'll probably run a 15 amp because there's nothing on this bike that's going to require more than 15 amps. Total load. So I'll probably just put a 15 amp on there and run it. And the only thing you're going to have is a starter button. Now, they have the starter wired to the switch right to your starter motor, which is up under here. Lights off. So right here is your switch, your terminal for going in. That's where your wire goes. And that's what this wire here was connected to. So this wire here is the one that comes out for the starter function. So when you run it like that, then that means this switch here has to take all the power to run that starter motor. So that can be 30 amps of load. So basically what's going to happen is you're going to trigger the solenoid right here to engage. So that solenoid, whatever it sucks, has to be fed from this. Once it collapses all the way and the big copper washer in there connects the post, then the starter motor comes on and it starts the bike. That's how starter motors work. So to take the load off the switch and make it live a lot longer, you put relays in there. And relays are this thing right here. That's a relay. There's your starter relay. And if you want to know which one we're using right now, that's the name of it right there. They make these in different numbers, and there's different outputs. Some have diodes, some don't. I don't know, there's lots of different ones. Anyway, this is the one that they sell me with in the package, and that's what we get. These are good ones. So what this does is, this is an electrical switch. So you have power right off the battery on one side. You have output going to your starter, which is this wire here. You have a ground, it goes to ground, and then the fourth wire is your trigger wire. That's the wire that comes off of this. So that goes in here, triggers it. It only takes, milliamps to run this thing. And it turns a switch, boom, pops it over, triggers the whole circuit. And then you got 30 amps or 40 amps or whatever you're rated for, goes through the switch. Nothing goes through this except milliamps. So there's no electrical load on this anymore. This takes all your load, and the starter bike starts. When you hear that clicking noise when the bike won't start, it's usually this relay is bad. So if you put that in the system, you're good. Now, one trick you can do, like on my race bike, you take a zip tie, put it on the frame rail right there, and you zip tie it right to your frame. Boom, right like that. You have all your wires coming out down below. That's how I do my race bike. Now this one here, We have some place we can put screws in here, some other stuff. I'm not sure where I'm going to hang all this stuff yet, but somewhere in there we're going to put this thing. Okay, now you can do it two different ways. You can run the plug, which is in here. There's your plug. So I like standard product stuff, which is standard product. There's their number. Standard products makes high quality parts for everything. So this comes with pigtails already attached. This here plugs right into here. Boom, 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 like that. And you're done. All you gotta do is splice these in. So there you go. Quick and simple if you like splices. And I'm not a big fan of splices. The other way you can do it is you can go over here and grab some spade terminals, which are somewhere buried up in all my drawers over here. Not sure where. This guy done put a bunch of crap up here, so I don't know where everything is at. And of course, everything's in the way from opening up my drawers. So there's spade terminals in here. And there's one right there. Ooh, there's a fancy one right there. Okay, these are spade terminals, 1/4 inch. This is a heavy duty spade terminal because it's got a spring around it right in there. And this is the correct one that goes inside of the plug. Right here, because I have these plugs separate. And this little titty here engages into the plug in here and locks the wire in so it won't come out. And this has the heavy duty holding that really puts a lot of bite on your plug so it won't fall off. This wire won't fall off. Now you can also just use this directly, put it on there and run wires and put a zip tie around the neck of them and call it done, like a ponytail on a gal. Same difference. Okay, now then you got your regular terminals, which are these ones here. They don't have that double spring in there, that double lip spring right like that. So this just has standard tension. This is 3/16, not a 1/4, but same difference. So you can put these directly on there, do a pigtail around the back of it, call it done. That works too. I never really had any of those fall off. Here's a cheaper one here that you can see better. So that would go right on there like that. And it just slides on, and it can slide off almost as easy. Not quite. So anyway, that works for those. So this is the correct ones here. So like I said, if you get the plug and those and put it all together. See, my paint rack is in the way. Move paint rack. These are screws. Yeah, figures in that drawer right there. Move the paint rack. See how you do that? Okay, so you go in here and you find your terminals. These are amp plugs here. That's not what we're looking for. Here's those terminals right here. Okay, camera goes down again. Okay. So here is your plug that goes in here. So the thin one here goes into here. In the correct direction, this direction here. See, there's your plug. And all you gotta do is put your terminals inside of here. And they pop in there, and you run your wire out and you make up your own wires. And I used to have all the terminals floating around here somewhere. Got all this crap laying around in here. There we go. There's the genuine Harley terminals. See, a little bit not quite as heavy duty as those ones. But these are the correct Harley terminals, so there's your part number if you give a squat. I bought these at 99. They're good. So you take some of those, pop them in there, and you're good. This is for a heavier duty design. These are for those big weather tight connectors, probably this one. This is what Harley uses, this one. They don't have the double spring in it. So you don't have that second wound of spring in there on these ones. That's not in there. It's just a standard looking one, but it has the hold that holds it in there. Little tang. Titty. There's a whole stack of them in there. So I can make up my own. See, I collect a lot of repair pieces. These are the little terminals that go in the inside your taillight socket for the bulb to hit against. That goes into the wire that you can never buy anywhere. There they are. You can buy them if you know where to go to. Try that Waytech place. They probably have them. So there's lots of different things I stock like that around here to play with. All right. So I'll make a decision I want to do that. More than likely I'll probably make up my own because I don't like putting splices in there if I don't have to. So I just do it my way. Screw it. Alright, so we're going to put that in there at some point. Now, if you don't want to zip tie in your circuit breaker, you can use a cheap ass steel ones that don't work, that Harley used. Harley ones were heat treated, so they worked, and the aftermarket ones are not, so they don't work. Okay, these are the newer plastic ones. That's this number right here. So there you go. So these ones are from 12. I bought these ones. Okay, so these are plastic. They got a hole where you screw them down to something. Put a hole right through your battery. Put one of them self-tapping screws right on top of your battery right there. Somebody would probably do that. Anyway, these pop into here. They hold in really hard. Bite in hard, see? Got a nice tang right there. They can pop on and off. Those are in there. They're not falling out. And you can also take and put a little slit right through the side on both sides here and put a zip tie in there and zip tie it to a frame. I do that too. But there's room for a screw head underneath there. That's why it's made like that. So you can bolt that to something like this. On the other side we can't see it. So these work really, really well. You can also take a zip tie. Once again, run 2 zip ties around the frame and hold it to the frame. That works too. Just make sure they're good zip ties, not cheap ones. So there's lots of different ways of doing this stuff. And I'll figure out which one it's going to be. So anyway, that's the electrical. Someone wanted me to make a schematic of how the bike is supposed to be wired. Yeah. Wire comes out of here, goes a switch. You go from switch to circuit breaker. 2 circuit breakers split the circuit. With this switch here, we have 1 circuit breaker, then switch. Then we come out of the switch, and we go up to the headlight circuit, and we go to the ignition circuit. Boom, done. The tail light is on the lights. The stop light switch is on the ignition circuit. Figure that out. It ain't hard here. It's not rocket science. This crap here is a joke. Anybody that runs a fuse on a bike is stupid. Not only are they stupid, they're a moron. Okay. They break, you're stranded. Circuit breakers trigger. These will trigger on, pop, break the circuit. You wait 30 seconds a minute, they go trick, and they come back on, and they work again. Done. Okay, then we got that light wire goes up to here. One of those runs your ignition. It's the center post in that coil is hot. One of these wires is going to have to be hot going up to that. I don't know which one it is. I got to figure it out. There's a couple going forward. I still don't know what this extra black wire is. Never have figured it out. It's not needed. I know that. Okay, the headlight. We bypass this. Keep on going forward. We run up in the headlight switch. There's your headlight. See headlight wire? It's nice to have a ground. So you got 2 wires. One going back and forth. Maybe that's what that wire. Maybe it's a ground wire for the headlight. Yeah, that might be what it's for. If so, I got to hook it to ground. Okay, now I like having a high-low switch on the back of my headlight bucket because when you're sitting on the bike here, you can reach over the handlebars and hit your headlight real easy. And right now you got an off position in the middle. You got high or low depending on which way you go. Here, see that's a 3-way switch. See 1, 2. That's 3 different posts. So you got an off. You can also have just an on-off switch, but when you do just an on-off, you only got 1 beam. This way here, you got neutral coming in and you're off. You can either go high or low or off. And that's how that works. So I like running those switches. Usually I put them up here in the top center where I can get to them over the top. This one they kind of hit it. And so, but it's real nice and simple. You don't have to have no wires up your handlebars or nothing. Works good. The other places you hang some switches down under here. I made little brackets to come off here, a little piece of angle iron. You put all your little switches right under here. Put all kinds of stuff. That works all right too. Especially when you're on a chopper like that with a lot of room. There's a lot of place you can hide stuff. Your tail light's right here. The wires run from there across. You know, I'm not sure why we need a schematic for this. It isn't hard. So anyway, that's all. It ain't much to wiring. Just one piece at a time is all you worry about. So there you go. Alright, so I'm going to work on that later. I ain't doing it tonight. So I think I'm going to probably go pretend like I don't like this chrome. Would that be a big pretend? So we're going to get rid of some nasty ass chrome. Because I hate chrome. At least much of it. A little bit is okay. That'd be like here and there. it complements other colors. Like black. Works really good with black. Okay, so I'm going to go over here and we're going to blast this thing real quick. We're going to use low pressure. We're going to use beads so it doesn't bite too hard. We're going to see how good this chrome is. So I'm going to do this side first because it's the side you can't see. I'll see how bad it looks. If it's really bad, I'm not going to do the other side. If it blasts all the chrome off, I have to paint it silver. So we'll see. So that side goes down. Get some air. A little bit of an air leak up there. Drop it. Drop it again. Slippery. Satin. Wipe it off. So there's your satin finish now. Boom. So you got a little bit of chrome there, not much. So you got a little bit duller, a little bit shinier. Two-tone. So see it killed the color just enough to make it nice. And it didn't blow it all off and go right to copper underneath, so that's a good sign too. Okay, so now I'm going to take this, put it back on. So I'll probably go see if I can find me an O-ring to go in there. Probably won't find one, but I'll attempt to find one. Voila. See, not nearly as shiny. Way better looking. See, now it matches with the chrome. I mean with the polish. It dulls. It's not real shiny, but it's shinier than polished, but it's not reflective. It's not shooting back in your face. So there you go. That's how I like it. Much, much better. I like that a ton better than we had. We even got a bolt liner in here. That ain't the right size though. Need a 1/4 inch. Alright, so we'll deal with that. Alright, there you go. I think we're at a good stopping point for tonight. 10:30. There you go. Alright, we'll be back. I'll show you what's in this box.